Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whoever's out there watching this video. Thank you for clicking on it. I don't remember if this was week 2 or week 3 because I lost track of when the Pro Quest started, but the date was October 19th. Don't know who that helps, but I thought it was week 2. But this was my first Pro Quest of the year, so I think it was either week 2 or 3. But let's go through it. I gotta click on it. All right, the meta. So we had 20 heroes. This was in Ontario, Oregon or something. Southeast. The only chunk of Oregon that has mountain view time for some reason. But yeah, we had 20 players. I think one dropped after round 1, but this is what was present. 4 Viscerai, 2 Aurora, 2 Prism, 2 KO, 1 Kano, myself. Azalea, which was Phil. Ocilio, I forget his name, but he comes to the Pendleton ones. 1 Victor, 1 Riptide, 1 Levia, 1 Enigma, 1 Florian, a Zen, and a New. There was, yeah. That was breakdown. So I think it was a decent roundabout. There was a lot less not New. Enigma and Aurora. I thought it'd be a little bit more prominent. But when you have most, this is like half the people that came to Pendleton, which none of us are playing those 2 heroes. It makes sense. For me, round 1, I played against Riptide. I have my notes here, but there's a general idea of what was happening. Got a bunch of early potions. They had Arknight Cap as well as Norrune. Not Norrune. One of the Ranger equipment that has AB on it. So realistically, they only had AB1, so I stayed lower than them most of the time. I wrote down what turns I got the potions during the game, which, side note for anybody taking notes, there's a proper note-taking etiquette. You cannot take notes of cards played by you or your opponent, cards in graveyard, or in banish during the game. This is bad note-taking etiquette because it lets you, if they're not taking similar notes, you have an edge of what's left in people's decks. So the odds of drawing a certain card, you can tell. You can write it post-game, but not during the game, as that gives you a slight edge. As a heads up, I did not get any penalty, as the judge had me come take a look at the rules after the game. But yeah, basically, I got a potion first 3 turns, and on turn 5, I used an E-Pot early. What was it? 1 second. Okay, instead of energy pot, I meant C-Pot, or the clarity potion I used early I felt like I was not getting my wildfire, and I felt I was pretty close to it, and I filtered 2 cards away to get closer to the wildfire I needed for my combo, because I blocked with one or used it. I did not record these matches. I did record the one I did yesterday of time recording, which is the 26th. But around turn 7, I had a Blazing in Arsenal, and I had 2 Kindles, a Gaze, and a Wildfire. So turn 8, I managed to get my combo off. Oh, I forgot to put these in here, down here for you guys, but oh well, I'll just read it off. I had Wildfire, Aether Flare, Aether Arc, and then I had Blazing Aether for 29 is what I wrote down on my piece of paper. And that was round 1, and again, I played it slow, because Riptide I know is a little bit slower than Azalea. He doesn't have Dominate, so I won't be leaking as much damage. I just played out my potions, saw an opportunity where they were low on resources and only on AB1, and I had Kindles and a Wildfire and a Blazing. So it didn't really matter too much what I got off the top, as long as I got at least 1 to 2 extra cards. Round 2 was Zen, AB3, and I did lose this one. Okay, I did annotate the win on that one, just making sure. They're running 2 needles. This is my first time playing against Zen post book banning, post Art of War banning. I wasn't really sure how the matchup went. They were running 2 needles, so I was like, oh, cool, I could just block them when I need to. When he saw that I had a combo, though, card, because I searched with Lessons in Lava a little early, and I had Wildfire, so they knew they had that, so they could just go needle card, So I had to decide when to block any needles to take it out. I was a little slow on getting those needles broken. So they leaked a lot of damage with them here and there. On my combo tuner, as you can see there, it says he had 2 blues in the hand after playing 2 blues. So they played 2 blues, which one was a random blue attack, and then the specialization, I needed them to be on 2 reds, because my combo was Wildfire, Arcane Twinning, Aether Flare, and Blazing Aether. Blazing Aether dealt 21 damage. If they were on double red, I would have been able to leak it. But it seems like the Zen decks are on pretty high blue counts. I know Jonathan on our local store, he said he was running 9 Transcend cards. So that's just the Transcend cards, and to make up for that, you obviously have to run a high blue count. So Zen's pretty aggressive. But that was my first one after post-banning. I got a better lineup on it, and I did a little bit better against the Zen. Spoilers on the tournament yesterday. That's going to be a later video. I will be posting those edited and voiced over, and I will put the unedited clips if you want to watch those. Only 2 of them are over 20 minutes, so that helps out. I will be having a Patreon. It'll be in the link. You can watch those raw videos. I'm only going to put it up for like $2, something cheap. I just want gas money. And let's see here. What else did I wrote? Oh, and I had drawn a lot of my floodgates early. I had 6 of them in the grave, various colors. I don't remember. I didn't write down how many of each were in the grave, but 6 of them were used before my combo tuner. So I only had 3 left in the deck. So if I had a little bit more extenders, those were still in the deck, I could also possibly have won, but I did not see them since 6 of them were in the grave. Oh yeah, and just those needles. I now know to, as soon as I get the opportunity to block them, do so. I know some people are running Bittering Thorns to bait out, so that you can't exactly block the needle either. It's an interesting one. It's going to be a little bit grindier depending on if they're used to the matchup or not. I think I can handle it now, depending on their play style. If they go a lot slower, I can get those needles out of the way. Next was round 3 of Viscerai. This is the only loss that I felt bad for myself, because I could have done a little bit better. I'll go into those details. It is a nasty deck regardless. They managed to pump out like 3 to 4 rune chants every single turn, having me to deal with 3 arcane. Even if it was just make a rune chant swing sword, that was 4 damage every turn consistently, which is not bad. Let's see here. What else did I have? Oh, on this one, I had a wonky hand. Not wonky hand. Let's see here. So I only had on board, I had 2 E potions and a clarity pot. I got Will of Arcana off Ragamuffins, which was nice. And I messed up my Kindle combo. I knew there was a blue there. I should have pitched in a different way to ensure that my Kindle drew a blue, as opposed to drawing a red, which was a red spindle. I still had boots available as my Kindle was in Arsenal, and I could have used that spindle to opt, because looking at the deck afterwards, there was a floodgate 2 to 3, 4 cards down, and I could have opted for 9. I don't remember. I didn't have an energy potion, so I'm not sure if I would have been able to still cast the spindle and the floodgate. But my combo was weird. It was, did I even write it down? Yeah, it was Wildfire, open the floodgates, pop the bubble or whatever, and I got a Deja Vu potion mid combo, which is kind of frustrating as well. My hand was Wildfire, Eye of Affinia, and 2 blues, and I had Arsenal and Kindle. So I could have, even if with that Deja Vu, with that spindle, I think I could have gotten a little bit more momentum there and found a floodgate to get through it. Yeah, I could have opted 9 according to my notes. And I had like 20 minutes left in the round, so it's not like I didn't have ample time to think about it. I just was like, all right, I might have been slightly annoyed or something, but that's something I need to learn, is taking my time, especially in these type like ProQuest, RTNs. Use the time. What are you gonna do? Sit around and whine about my loss with the extra time I have, as opposed to trying to pull something and get a win out of it. Again, this was the only loss I felt bad about. The rest of them, I'm like, okay, cool. It's a learning lesson. I'll take notes and move on with it. Next one, round 4 Prism. This was against my friend Sam. I was at 4 life when I had to go off. They didn't have any angels out like pre-flipped, so they had to flip one, and I had resources, to waning moon it away regardless of what happened. Luckily they didn't have Genesis out, so I didn't have a lot of spectral shields either, and I got to pitch Will Arcana twice, so I was just amped twice, which is nice. They broke their headpiece off aggressively instead of saving it for my combo or a spindle that was dealt a decent amount of damage. My combo was a pretty decent one, was Wildfire, Floodgate. So Wildfire hit for 4, Floodgate hit for 6. Open the Floodgate, no. Overflow the Aether for 5, and then Blazing Aether dealt 30. Even if they had their headpiece, I would have had them low enough to deal the 28 on Blazing Aether, or deal 28 for lethals where they were at 26 or something. But it's just the concept of having the headpiece available. They also had no chest piece available. They had broken that off. I had 2 energy potions, a Deja Vu, and Tunic. Springfield Tunic, that is. My hand for combo was Floodgate. I don't know what I wrote here. Oh, open Floodgate, overflow the Aether, Flare, and a blue, and I had Wildfire and Arsenal. And then luckily I did win this Prism matchup. It was good for me. Unfortunately for me, round 5 was also Prism. And this one, they had very aggressive hands. They had the Dominate card every other turn. They found 2 Pierce Realities very early that got to buff their first herald, making my blocking miserable. On the combo turn, I had reds and yellows in hand. There's not much I could have done based off what I felt in my notes. My hand was Wildfire, Spindle. I guess there was 2 blues in there. Wildfire, Spindle, Gaze the Ages, and Arc. My arsenal was Aether Quickening. I had 2 energy potions, a Depot, and a Clarity Pot. My combo consisted of Wildfire for 1 and Aether Quickening for 6. At that point, that put me at 2 wins, 3 losses, which, depending on how it was, that top 8 was a lot of 2 X's, so like 2 and 3s. But where my losses were, I did not bubble out, unfortunately. If I had won this one, I would probably had a guaranteed spot. They had Genesis out early, so they had a lot of tokens, and they just had really good board control. I had used Waning Moon where I thought appropriate to blow up an angel every time mid-attack to mitigate their additional resources, so they're every time they flipped, they lost a soul, and I tried to do it before they got their additional draw 2 or the make additional spectral shields. I still don't want to face Prism. We have 2 people playing Prism at the moment, and these are the 2 people that brought it. Last week I this week I didn't have to play them, and there was no enigmas on this previous event, or the event that I just did. So basically what I learned from this ProQuest is I have plenty of time to do what I want in Kano decks, depending on the matchup. There's no dash I had to worry about. Viscerai is just pretty strong. I might not have a lot of time with them, but I could probably pitch a couple more cards, find potions quicker, and eat up some of those rune chants and leak some physical damage, depending which one is higher, or if they have a weird on hit. But yeah, don't want to see any more prisms. I can tell you right now, I need to work on my dash IO matchup, because I had struggled with that last one. And you can see on the bottom right hand screen down here, That is our sub goal for YouTube. This is my streaming layout. We are at 34 of our 500. 500 lets us get monetization on our channel to make that gas money / food money in this economy. Yeah, I look forward to editing down those gameplay footage for everybody to pay attention that are interested in watching Kano or just wanted to see my thoughts of where things could be altered. Again, I will have my Patreon link for those raw videos if you want to watch them now without my editing and post commentary. They'll be down there. Like I said, I'll probably set it like no more than $3 a month. So that way I think that's what my content is worth, about $3 for you to watch the raw content. And I'll have the deck list included in here in the description. All right, bye.